turn. Oh, see. I know, I know, I know. Oh, yes, it is that time. Once again, you are listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner. We count it all joy that you are with us on this day. Dr. West and I are going to explore the Fight the Oligarchy tour that is happening. It has been happening in states across the country, drawing crowds. But what does that really mean moving forward? Are there any plans attached to the Fight the Oligarchy tour? Well, Dr. West and I are going to explore that. And the United States of Fear. Is this an environment that's being pushed by this current administration to have everybody scared? Or will courage and justice prevail? Well, Dr. West and myself, we got something to say about that. Before, though, the doctor's in the house, and per usual, we want to know what is on his heart, his soul, and his mind. Hello, Dr. Cornel West.
My dear sister, well, it's always joy in of so much sorrow. We got a joy that the world didn't give us, and the world can't take
it away. Yes.
And a healing shot through us that no dim circumstances can ever dampen. And that's good news. You know what's been on my mind, though, is I've been thinking about the great Howard Thurman. You know, he was the teacher of Martin Luther King Jr. He was the author of Jesus and the Disinherited of 1949 and the Luminous Darkness, Spiritual Reflection, his great autobiography, With Heart and with Head and Heart. He all viewed him as inseparable. Why is he so much on my mind? Well, he's on my mind because his fundamental aim in life was to try to cultivate the inner resources inside of each and every one of us so that we would become equipped to live what he called a world in which friendly existence and a friendly society, a loving existence, a just society flowing from those who muster the courage to love the least of these. And we need the Howard Thurmans. Of course, the Mary McLeod Bethunes, that we'll be talking about later on this week, are inseparable from Brother Howard. But he, of course, was the great teacher of Martin Luther King Jr., the great friend of Benjamin Elijah Mays, president of Morehouse for over 20-some years. And somebody like a Howard Thurman is an example of what it means to look the most overwhelming despair in the face and still live a life of great dignity and love. And we need figures, examples, avatars, those who provide concrete manifestations of what it means to hold on for dear life, to a love, to a joy, to a justice in a moment of overwhelming hate and sorrow and injustice. And when I think of what's going on at Columbia, not just Brother Mahmoud, but of course, there's been another Korean sister who's been taken in. I think of what's going on in Georgetown with the Indian brother who is now in detention because he married a Palestinian sister. These are the neo-fascist policies that are expanding. And if we don't have the kind of spiritual and moral resources that Howard Thurman talked about, then just like the Columbia president, you capitulate. Just like Paul Weiss on Wall Street, major law firm, you cave in to Trump. Now, Perkins Cole is holding on, another law firm that Trump is attacking. But Paul Weiss, Columbia University president, cowardly capitulation. They need to be in contact with the spirit of Howard Thurman. And of course, I think the spirit of Curtis Mayfield and Nina Simone go hand in hand with the spirit of Howard Thurman. But we're not talking about the musicians today. We're about these spiritual, moral leaders who engage in a struggle for justice for a lifetime, a longevity of integrity. That's somebody who's touching me today, Howard Thurman.
Yeah, and I definitely recommend that people read his book. And it's a quick read too. It's not a long. The Disinherited. Oh my God! And lifting him up to people who probably never heard of him. You're right. He is one of those background people, but the folks who are in the foreground could not. We absolutely could not do the things that we do without the background folks lifting us up, pushing us, making us sound good. To use a musical reference. But I'm so glad that you introduced them to the folks, our viewers who are with us, our listeners who are with us today. We count it all joy when we come forward. The Oligarchy Tour, is it going to expand to more than a tour? Will some action be attached to that? Well, Dr. Cornel West and we will discuss that.
Speaking truth to power and to the powerless. This is Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner. KBLA Talk 1580 is pleased to announce that, like George and Weezy, we're moving on now. Earlier this year, we were named as semifinalists for the American Climate Leadership Awards 2025. Wait for it. You ready? KBLA Talk 1580 was recently selected as one of 10 finalists being considered for this prestigious award. Hundreds of organizations, institutions, and even cities were nominated in the selection process. But KBLA Talk 1580 has made it to the finals. You're invited to watch live on Wednesday, April 16th. At 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central, as Eco America announces the winner and the runner-up, awarding over $200,000 in prize money. To watch live, just go to ecoamerica.org to register and attend the online ceremony. That's ecoamerica.org. Don't miss the presentation of the American Climate Leadership Awards 2025, Wednesday, April 16th, and wish us luck. Caring about the climate, caring about the community, changing the conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Bring spring to your door with Target Circle 360. Get all you need for Easter hosting, spring get-togethers, and more with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. From Easter basket goodies to fresh florals, getting everything the same day is easy. Open the Target app and bring the magic of the season to your door with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. Visit target.com/circle or the Target app for more details. Subscription required. Same-day delivery is subject to terms. Applies to orders over $35.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Light a candle, pour some wine. Grab a roll, the soft kind for a little me time. Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear. Wavy edges for my rear. So let the softness caress your soul. Just relax, you're on a roll. Let her rip. Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear.
Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear has the same softness you love, now with wavy edges that tear better than the leading one-ply brand. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
To thine own self be true. More of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner coming your way right now on KBLA Talk 1580.
For all of you who come forward with us, we really do appreciate you so much. If you are just joining us, welcome to Truth Time. Dr. West just laid out a just society based on the teachings and the writings of the one and only Howard Thurman. And looking, that when you said looking overwhelmingly, looking at the despair in its face and seeing the faces of the people who represent that despair is caused by systemic failings, human failings, a type of immorality, which is swirling over this country and this world. And it just didn't get started. I mean, we got to remind folks that this energy has always been there. Sometimes it's right in our face and sometimes it's percolating right behind the corner. Right now is dead in our face and we got to address it head on like that. So speaking of despair and the representations of despair, we know they are systemic, but people control systems. And in the American empire, Dr. West, as you like to call it, we know that the big money interests are absolutely in control. So you have Senator Bernie Sanders and Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez out on a tour, which they have labeled the Fight the Oligarchy Tour. And It has been compelling. People have been showing up all over the country in droves. It's been very big rallies. You and I are accustomed to those types of big rallies as we campaigned all across the country for Senator Bernie Sanders at a time. The question becomes, you have to communicate with people. You have to talk to them. You have to me, provide a vision, share a vision that provides provision. I'm not necessarily sure that this tour is doing that, but what it is awakening some sleeping giants, and it is causing people, I think, in some ways to be in some type of community with one another, even if it's a temporary community.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's always a positive thing to put your body on the line and to act based on what you're saying in such a way that it brings people together, that gives them some relief and distance from the sense of paralysis. And when you have numbers, when you have 10, 15, 20, 30,000 people showing up, certainly it provides a possible unity, but an unbelievable sense of relief for an alternative given the nightmarish present. And so I salute Brother Bernie. You're right. How many times did we go on rallies with Brother Bernie? It's almost 100 times. Lord have mercy. Now, AOC to me is very different than Bernie in that regard. He is an independent. He works for the Democratic Party. I think too often he brings people into the Democratic Party, not saying critical enough things for the leaders in the party, the Bidens and the others. AOC is very different. Did AOC support your run for office?
The first time, that special election, most of them did, because it was an open seat in the special election. The second election, Doc, she endorsed me less than 24 hours before election day.
Yeah, you see, I'm looking for consistency with my.
You asked, Doc. I had to tell the truth on Truth Time.
Got progressive sensibilities, but it's the timing and what is put at risk. If she's got her eye on Nancy Pelosi, it's going to be very difficult to keep your eye on the least of these. Mm-hmm. So terrorism operating alongside the progressive sensibility, but she's out there with Bernie, and that's fine. What is your take? What is your assessment of what both of them are doing now?
I am in agreement with you, Doc, about the gathering of people and kind of stating the case, that part, and that people who are feeling anxiety and disconnected need to find people by which they can have a certain type of energy. And that's why I call it temporary, because everybody's going to go home and retreat back to their corners. That doesn't mean that they shouldn't have come to the concert. And I hate to label it as a concert. I don't mean any disrespect for it. I think it is good. What needs to happen, though, beyond that is a plan. Like, what do we do with the energy that just took place at this rally? What is it that you want people to do? Because in fact, it is the Congress's job. It is the Democrats' job, to be the party of resistance. It's hard for them to resist when they're eating from the same trough. And that's what you and I talk about all the time. So I think it is a good thing superficially. Where it is going to take people and get us, I am not so sure. And yes, people who told us to vote for Biden in 2020, even if we like them, even if their politics are right most of the time, they got to answer for that. I'm sorry, not in 2020, 2024. Oh, in 2022, because you and I, we rocked with Senator Sanders. He could have won in 2016. He could have won in 2020. The mainline Democrats put their bodies on the line. And we're just going to tell the truth. They did not want this progressive champion to win the race, because now the status quo is upset. Like, the stasis is all messed up. And that's what it means to be a neoliberal. You are right in line with the status quo. You believe that the market can help everything. You're not much different than the conservatives. 2024, though, many of them knew. First of all, President Biden was not honest, Doc, about what he said. He was going to be a transformational president, meaning he wasn't going to run again. And then ego got in the way. He decided to run again. And so to have people who are supposed to be on the progressive side admonish progressives, tell progressives they got to support him or else, I think that was the wrong move. Yes, Senator Sanders definitely gets grace because he's been rocking for 40 years. He's been pretty consistent over the course of his political career. We're all human, right? So we all might get out of step every now and then, but for the most part, for the Congresswoman, she still got a longer way to go. And I agree. I mean, she was one of those ones saying she endorsed, matter of fact, she endorsed President Biden in 2023, if I recall. And none of them called for a robust primary. If we had had a robust primary, if the process had been fairer and more open, then candidate Dr. Cornel West would have been able to get fair audience and time. Congressman Dean Phillips, who was the only actively elected person who challenged the system, would have been able to get some time. Even RFK Jr., who before they pushed him over to the other side, Marianne Williamson, Dr. Jill Stein. I mean, all of the people who at least had the courage at the time just to even step in the arena would have been able to give a robust, would have been able to have a robust debate and would have been able to present the American people, particularly those who vote more Democrat, but all the American people, the opportunity to make a choice. And that was taken from them. So if I have a critique of both the senator and the congresswoman, they were in that band saying, no matter what, just go along with President Biden.
Now, speaking some very painful and courageous truths about the corruption of the oligarchy. If their alternative is just to bring people into Schumer's party and Jeffrey's party, then you got Wall Street and genocide sitting there.
That's right.
So if you just bringing folk in, and Schumer's going to talk about how great this Israel is when it's committing genocide against people and killed 20,000 babies in a matter of months, and then going to tell you how Wall Street is so crucial, and Wall Street is doing what? Capitulating to Trump over and over and over again, because they're just concerned about stock market and profits. They're concerned about their money for the most part, and that's sad, but that's a reality. And yet has been behind the Democratic neoliberal embodiment, the neoliberal embodiment Democratic Party, then Hakeem Jeffries as head of the House echoing those same kind of policies. Then we just wonder, what is the long run perspective of both Brother Bernie and Sister AOC? But we both applaud them being out there and raising their voices, bringing a critique to bear on the oligarchy. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I agree. And, there are others out there. We have lifted up Congressman Ro Khanna, who's going into red districts. So he's not necessarily attracting the faithful, but he's attracting people who Republicans, because they don't believe that their constituents are upset about Doge. They didn't vote for President Trump for a second time because they thought that he was going to get the keys to Elon Musk. They voted for him because he said he was going to drive down inflation and the cost of groceries, and that he was going to stand on the side of working class people. Now he's doing anything but that. And now that, to quote Minister Malcolm X, the chickens have come home to roost, you see Republican voters in red districts bringing it to them about veterans, about the post office, and the post office is in the Constitution. Now, I want the folks that have joined us today to understand this. When they messing with, and they've been trying to mess with the post office, this is not the first time. President Biden should have got rid of DeJoy. I know DeJoy has just left, Doc. He got a chance to walk out on his own. But President Biden should have got rid of DeJoy. The postal workers, the upper echelons of the postal unions were complaining about DeJoy and how he was not committed to the services of the United States Post Office that is in the Constitution, and how what the GOP may be able to do in this moment is going to wreck all of that. They want to try to privatize the United States Post Office. And if this happens, it's going to be driven totally by profit and not by service. The postal workers, they take their oath, their charge, if you will, is the mail must go through. And they go to areas that, God bless our UPS sisters and brothers. This is not against them or FedEx or Amazon, all that. I'm talking about the people now, not the corporation, but the people who do a job to get us our packages all the way around. God bless all of them. However, the Postal Service has a constitutional mandate that the mail must go through. And those people are public servants. And the fact that the GOP has been gunning to privatize them over several presidencies, and that when Democratic presidents were in charge, that is Clinton, that is Obama, that is Biden, did not do what was necessary to strengthen and shore up the post office from this moment. Is a shame. So this goes back to what we're saying. You going on the tour of the fight the oligarchy tour, but we're gonna have to fight some folks with some fancy titles who've been elected to office, but lack the ovarian, they don't have the intestinal fortitude or the ovarian audacity to do what is right for the people. And so this war on federal workers comes by hand of, even unless we put the oligarchs in the parking lot. Democrats failed, Doc. They failed.
And right at a moment where we have to have strong institutional capacity, strong political parties to fight the fascism that's escalating, they weak and feeble.
Weak and feeble. So what are they saying to people on the tour? We get it. I mean, this corrupt crony capitalism is taking us down. So many people have so little, and so few people have so much. It's unsustainable, so that's a good message to have, to talk about now. But where do we go from here? Once you state the obvious, where are we going with it?
Oh, that's real. That's very real. I'm wondering whether they're keeping track of the connection between the oligarchy at home and the imperial policies abroad. You heard about the brother who just won the Oscar, the Palestinian.
Yes, beat up in the West Bank, hospitalized.
Apt, just the hatred, the contempt, the organized greed, the capitalist predatory proclivities, and then in this case just anti-Palestinian racism is just out of control. Now they are concerned about the anti-Jewish racism, and rightly so. We ought to be with racism, but if all you can talk about is anti-Jewish racism and can't say a mumbling word about anti-Black racism, anti-Palestinian racism, then what are we talking about? There's no morality there. It's just all tribal interest rather than moral witness.
That's right, Doc. Moral witness. That's it. That's that. Listen, true time. That's the word for the day. Moral witness. Math was not my favorite subject. It was not even my best subject, but I do remember equations. In equations, what you do to one side, you do to the other. So if we're against isms, which we should be against the isms, then we got to be against all the isms and place nobody's life above another's life when it comes to fighting for justice and against injustice. And Doc, that is happening. So yeah, once we fight the oligarchy, see, there's a thing here that when we go full circle, so it's right to fight the oligarchy, to recognize the corrupting power of money, dark money, how they get to buy politicians, got it all. But baby, Doc, when we circle back around, the Democrats are right there with the Republicans because they all take the money of the oligarchs. They're all bought and sold by the oligarchs.
That's real.
So when I don't know, Doc, we putting out some revelations here right now in real time on Truth Time.
But it's back to this courage, integrity, honesty, service to the least of these, and that moral witness that Martin King and Curtis Mayfield and Nina Simone and Roberta Flack embody deep way. Andrew Stone too. We ain't forgot it. We will never forget.
No, never forget it. I don't know. It's a good stump speech, but ultimately, as Brother Michael Jackson said, I'm looking at the man in the mirror. You got to look at the men and the women in the mirror. Before we go on the tour about the oligarchs, we got to deal with the fact that the Democratic Party is making book with the oligarchs. And until we get dark money out of politics, meaning Citizens United was wrong. The corrupting force that one person or several people can buy absolute elections. You already have people like Elon Musk saying that he's going to put millions of dollars into Democratic primaries, for example, to lift up the more moderate of the Democrat to try to win, to be able to control politics in that way. So whether it's him or somebody else, the corrupting force of big dark money in politics is problematic. And it is one of the major reasons why we cannot have nice things. When we come forward, I want to hear what Dr. West, I know you want to hear too, what Dr. West has to say about that corrupting force of dark money. You're listening to Truth Time.
The truth will set you free, but first it might raise your blood pressure.
I'm not jiving you, man.
More of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner when we come forward.
I'm Esther Dillard with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Ukraine and Russia are agreeing to a limited ceasefire deal. A White House statement says the 2 countries have agreed to stop fighting in the Black Sea. This is no doubt good news for the 16% of African-American active duty soldiers enlisted. The state of Texas is reporting nearly 24 new measles cases are linked to an outbreak. The total is now up to 327 confirmed patients. One Black doctor told NBC Washington parents need to make sure their children are vaccinated. The Supreme Court is set to make a decision in a gerrymandering case addressing a map that includes 2 majority Black districts for the first time in decades. And Black billionaire golf legend Tiger Woods and Vanessa Trump, the ex-wife of President Trump's oldest son, Don Jr., are dating. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
At the tone, please record your message.
You ready? Drop it! Mr. Tavis Smiley, preach it. Thank you, man. Politics in this country is crazy. You put things in perspective that even I didn't. The right is playing fast and loose with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially Black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my Black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. You know that I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Hey, this is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, and for over 20 years, Parkside Economic Development Corporation has served Leimert Park and surrounding communities, empowering tomorrow's leaders and changing lives. Parkside EDC has awarded over $400,000 in college scholarships while sharing economic principles of the Big Five of money with students and their families. Parkside EDC partners with organizations like the Brotherhood Crusade to assure our youth have the financial acumen to succeed. Parkside EDC provides families and businesses with financial insights, offering free online, on-site, and on-air B-Warp presentations. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Programs helps our community acquire, sustain, and pass down legacy wealth. High school seniors can apply for this year's scholarship awards at parksideedc.org. Scholarships will be awarded at Parkside EDC's Gospel/Jazz Brunch on Sunday, April the 27th. For details, tickets, or donations, please visit parksideedc.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. Think about your mentors and idols, the people who inspire you the most. While it may look like they have all the answers, they don't. But they do know when to ask questions and seek the support they need. In a world that glorifies hyper-independence, it's easy to forget that we're all better with a support system. Therapy is a great way to find a consistent source of support in your life so you can break free from the outdated belief that seeking help is a sign of weakness. BetterHelp has experienced therapists ready to help you with challenges ranging from anxiety and depression to relationships and stress. It's convenient, too. You can join a session with the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. You can even send your therapist a message anytime something comes up. Build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/ABCRadio today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ABCRadio.
At Exquisite Family Mortuary, we know how overwhelming it can be planning a meaningful farewell for your loved one. Secure your peace of mind by calling Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. That's Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. From traditional funeral services to memorials to direct cremation, pre-needs, and more. Call Charlotte White at Exquisite Family Mortuary for Southern hospitality in Southern California. That's Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. Exquisite Family Mortuary is located nearby in Inglewood, California. Exquisite Family Mortuary, where your loved one becomes our loved one. This is where love and truth meet.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner.
I'm back. Yes, we are. And thank you so much for being here with us today. If, in fact, you're just joining us, welcome. For those of you who've been with us all along, we really do appreciate that. If you have missed any part of the show, make sure you download the KBLA app. You want to do that to listen to all the shows on this tremendous network being led by our one and only brother Tavis Smiley, doing the daggone thing, unapologetically black, unapologetically progressive, baby. That's how we rocking and rolling on KBLA Talk 1580. So, Doc, when we, as we came forward, we were talking about dark money and the impact and influence in dark money. And as someone who just recently, you just recently ran for president. You had to come up against those strong, very strong moneyed headwinds. And it causes a lot of challenges for candidates who want to be more independent and give the voters of our nation an opportunity. So the dark money part, that the duopoly, both parties. What is kind of your thoughts and take on that, especially being a candidate for running for president?
Well, it just reveals how corrupt a system can be when it is dominated by big money. Somewhere I read that the love of money is the root of all evil. It's a form of idolatry. It's a form of uncritical deference. It's a form of blind obedience to money. And once you get a thoroughly marketized, commercialized, commodified politics, then it's just the survival of the richest and the slickest. And so the whole system becomes one of corruption, becomes one of normalized larceny. And I was blessed, of course, to raise $1 million in 17 months. Democrats $1 billion in 1 month. I raised it from ordinary people, everyday people, in the language of Sly Stone. They raised it from big money, 70, 80%. Then they've got some from ordinary people, but there was just no chance. And of course, They spent millions and millions and millions of dollars to keep me off the ballot because they saw me as a threat. And I said, I'm just raising my voice. It's some part of the legacy of Martin King and Fannie Lou Hamer. We talking about abolishing poverty. We talking about universal health care.
Yeah.
We talk community control over police. We don't want no brutalizing and murdering of our young brothers and sisters of any color, but especially black, because it's always disproportionately black. And we're talking about dismantling the American empire, major cuts in military budget. Now you see Musk and others talking about cuts, but they don't start with the military. They start with U.S. aid to poor people. That shows their wickedness in terms of their priorities being wrong. They got wicked priorities. If the money you want to cut, you begin cutting to the people who need it the most, then it's already a sign that you don't have a moral fiber in your body. Now, Musk is honest. He says that empathy has been one of the biggest problems of Western civilization. Oh, my God. Ooh, love. You think empathy and love and compassion is something that's a deficit.
Yeah, weakness. Some nerve, but like you said, at least he's being honest. Mm-hmm.
Trump and his gangsterism, he's very honest and candid about it. Even the revelation about the leak, you know, and this meeting with the top folk talking about dropping bombs on Yemen.
Mm-hmm.
Berg, the editor of Atlantic Magazine, somehow his name gets included, and they say, and so you ask him quite explicitly this morning, well, is it a mistake? No, it's not a mistake. Was there any issues discussed as classified? No, I don't remember them even saying anything about, they just lying. It's such a farce.
And you want to talk about incompetence. You know, my grandmother used to say, if you dig a ditch, you better dig too. You know, and all this, you know, hatred towards diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is something we should embrace as a nation. It is a beautiful thing to be diverse. It's a beautiful thing to have equity, and it's a beautiful thing to have inclusion. What is their excuse? Because they always got to, you know, if a mistake is made, they say it's DEI. What is it this time? What is it this time? Because this is total incompetence on their part at the highest levels.
Merit whatsoever. It's a level that's beneath mediocrity.
Yes, sir.
It really is. It's a sad when you see this kind of farce right before your very eyes. Something that ought to be so serious is just so thoroughly ridiculous. And then they lie. They just deny it. They're in denial. The way Trump is just always in denial.
Yeah.
And them lie their ways through whatever situation they find themselves in.
That's how they've been rolling, Doc. And yeah, they were getting some tough questions. I got to give it to the Democrats. They really tried to, you know,
But of course, again, you know, that big money's on both sides. And both.
Yeah, it was robust questioning because it don't hurt you with your donors to do the robust questioning, but they did. And I swear to you, none of those people would answer that question. It was so disappointing because the whole world knows now. It's one thing if the secret is still kept, but maybe they didn't get the memo. I mean, the secret is out that y'all had a signal chat about bombing Yemen that you invited a reporter to. And just in case you ain't know that, we know. Oh, you got to laugh to keep from crying. I'm telling you, it's just so ridiculous. Doc, let me go in here for the chats. I'm gonna have to catch some of these folks on the other side, you know, when we come forward again. We got White Rabbit, hello, with a whole bunch of O's and exclamation points. Hello, White Rabbit. White Rabbit also says joy with exclamation points too. We appreciate that. God knows we need us a little joy. We got B Bell for Bad Dog Bullies. Doc, it tickles me every time B Bell is in here. Good afternoon, brother Dr. West, Sister Senator Turner, KBLA cousins, radio relatives, fight on.
That's
a mouthful coming from B Bell. We love you, B Bell. Mr. Morris Phillips is in. Good afternoon, Dr. West. And hello, Senator Turner. Hello to you, Mr. Morris Phillips. Selena Reek. Selena, where you been? Ricks, we've been missing you. She said it's truth time, and a hand clap and a smile. It is indeed truth time. Child of God, Black Leadership Industrial Complex. It's a network of people. Child of God again, Bernie Sanders' net worth is $15 million. Now, child of God, we're going to address that. Doc, I really don't know what the senator's net worth is. I really don't care. He's a good man, not perfect. He's a good man. And he's been fighting for a long time. And he has been by far one of the most consistent politicians that I know.
Absolutely. In both his words and also his deeds.
Yeah. So his net worth, it don't matter. I mean, I for one, it's not about people obtaining wealth. It is about how they obtain it and who's left behind. Crony capitalism doesn't work. But do I want all my sisters and brothers and family and friends to live wealth? Wealth is not just about the dollars. It is about health. It is about community. It's about friendships. It's about love. I mean, there are many ways to describe wealth. And since we have an economic system that oppresses so many people because the system is rotten. When you can't pay a living wage, the system is rotten. When you don't have universal health care, the system is rotten. Universal child care, the system is rotten, and on in a nation that is a hegemon. So again, I'm not begrudging people's wealth. It's how they got it. Now, insider trading should not be allowed within that Congress. Again, systemic failings, period. But I don't know. I guess I kind of understand. I don't know, I don't know where they're going necessarily, child of God, but I'm trying to understand that. When we come forward, we're going to get a little more understanding. You are listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner.
It's Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner on KBLA Talk 1580.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Individual results may vary. Consult a doctor prior to use.
You've lost so much weight. How'd you do it?
I got medical treatment for weight loss through Zelty and lost 50 pounds. I struggled for the longest time, but Zelty makes it easy and affordable to get weight loss treatment 100% online. Zelty providers can prescribe FDA-approved weight loss medications clinically shown to help people lose weight, like Wegovy, Zepbound, and others.
I've heard those medications can help you lose weight, but aren't they expensive?
Zelty can help get the medication covered by insurance, so it's as little as $0 a month.
What if you don't have insurance?
No problem. Zelty may be able to help you get other GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% off the price of name brand medications.
I'm ready to start losing weight. How do I get started with Zelty?
Just text.
Text SUNNY to 200-300 to get started today with Zelty and see if weight loss medications like Wegovy and Zepbound are right for you. Don't wait. Text now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text SUNNY to 200-300. That's SUNNY to 200-300. SUNNY to 200-300.
I juggle a lot. And managing constipation with belly pain from my irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, with laxatives and fiber isn't enough. My doctor recommended a way to get ahead of it. Then I said yes to Linzess.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Need a ride? Ride in style. Choose K-Meets, luxury transportation that puts you first. K-Meets has you covered with our 6-seater Sprinter limo that's perfect for couples, proms, weddings, and events. Whether it's a night out, special event, or just because, our elite Sprinter offers the perfect blend of luxury and intimacy without the crowd. Looking for SUV? K-Meets has that too. Elite SUV service available for your next ride. Book at kmeblack.com or call today 424-500-4751. Again, kmeblack.com 424-500-4751.
Truth shall rise again. You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
It absolutely will rise again. Doc, I'm going back to our live chat. I guess I kind of understand where child of God, so I want to just put this on you. And Child of God is hot to trot on this. Child of God is not happy and just making it known. So one of many comments is all WrestleMania, fans fighting each other while they work for the same bosses. Black leadership industrial complex playing their role too. So I think what Child of God is saying that the system is rigged, Doc, and we talk about that. But I get, I might not agree with every nuance, but I think I understand where Child of God is coming from.
Well, I mean, I guess he has a healthy suspicion of who, has a lot of money, or anybody who has a highly visible position. And there's nothing wrong with that suspicion. But there are conditions under which love breaks through. There's conditions under which service to people breaks through. There's conditions under which the consistency of your care and love and service to people break through. And once that is established, then you can see that these folk are not corrupt. So no matter how much money Bernie has, he's not a corrupt brother.
No.
Most of the congressmen in Washington probably are corrupt in terms of not allowing their love and service and consistency of caring for the least of these to break through. So I understand my brother's point, but it's not as if it's a blanket over all leaders or all spokespersons or even all artists. You know what I mean? That there's a whole host of artists who have money who actually are not corrupt. They enact their art and they follow through. And we've always talked about some of the great artists like Curtis Mayfield, Nina Simone, and Roberta Flack. And I personally, Prince himself had big money, but he continued giving money, continually giving free concerts, continually giving of himself, that it makes him a decent human being, but still fallen, still finite, but a decent human being. And that's very different than a lot of other artists who right in the middle of Black Lives Matter, you can't find them. you know?
That's true, Doc. And we need more people with economic wealth, because that's the thing. I mean, wealth comes in many forms. Economics, it's one of them. Financial means to be on the justice side. We need that, and so I love that point that you're making. We got Blessed Peacemaker in the house. Hello, Blessed Peacemaker. Greetings, Dr. West and Senator Turner. So my question is, when or if Blessed Peacemaker, when or if Dr. West, Dr. Stein, Dr. Claudia De La Cruz, Dr. Butch Ware, and Senator Turner are going on tour together. Unity tour, ? Blessed Peacemaker is putting out a charge to us, Doc. You got a feeling about that, Doc?
Well, tell him I'm perennial on tour. I was in Portland just 2 days ago with my dear brother, the Reverend Dr. Magnificent Damon Glenn, with his Cultural Soul Project in the Quaker Church right across the street from Reed College. We had a packed crowd. Before that, I was at Denzel Washington High School in Mount Vernon. We had a packed crowd with the young folk from choirs and hip hop artists and leaders out of Mount Vernon, and myself and my dear brother Kevin, brother T, and others. So that's part of a tour too. It's not the same tour, but we forever.
We forever on tour. That's right, Doc. I'm right here in Columbia, South Carolina with the AFL-C, the South Carolina AFL-CIO at their leadership conference. Rocking with them real strong. So yeah, Doc, we're always on tour, out where the people are, lifting the people, spreading the gospel of good news, and activating people to be engaged. Always. But I do appreciate Blessed Peacemaker. She's trying to put the band together, trying to put a special band together. Hold that thought, Dr. West. When we come forward, we will continue our conversation. You are listening to Truth Time.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions.
The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
This is where love and truth meet.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner.
Oh yeah, love and truth. Yes, it is. Again, I said I was in South Carolina, in Columbia, South Carolina, with the South Carolina AFL-CIO. I do want to shout out President Boris Gibson and Vice President Kim Smith. They are having a leadership conference to activate their members and to get out here and be ready to fight. We know that South Carolina is a hard state to be a union in. It is a right to work state. So for the unions that are here, big ups to them. And Doc, I got to let you know, they're not sitting on the sidelines. They know that they are going to have to organize not only their members, but all working class people in the great state of South Carolina. You know, the president asked this morning in his remarks, where do we go from here? Similar to Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. asking us very pointedly, where do we go from here? Community or chaos? I recommend that is such a good read. And that is a very apropos question for this moment. Where do we go from here? Community or chaos?
Very important. No, you got Refuse Fascism, which is a very powerful emerging coalition of forces for good all around the country, and that's something we playing a very important role. We've just had a huge gathering here in Harlem on 132nd Street and Malcolm X Boulevard just a few weeks ago with artists. Reggie Workman played the bass for John Coltrane, 1961, Africa Brass, Professor New School. And he wasn't the only one. William Parker, to have avant-garde jazz, and Burnt Sugar, who's funky as they can be. And we can go on and on and on, the poets and what have you. But we're trying to do a number of things on a number of different fronts because, of course, the fascist bombardment is so intense that it's functioning on so many different levels and different fronts. So we're trying to respond and resist in the best way that we could and make the connections between the need for resistance here and what's going on in Gaza with the genocide, what's going on in Africa and Sudan, what's going on in Haiti, what's going on in Iran, what's going on in Turkey. I mean, there's a whole slew of crucial issues to keep our minds on as we straighten our backs up and keep that love flowing from our hearts, mind, and souls. Howard Thurman, Mary McLeod Bethune, Nina Simone, Kurt, we shall never, ever forget.
No, we will not forget. And speaking of Dr. Bethune, when it's part of our teaching Thursdays this week, we are going to highlight her, and her last will and testament comes to mind, Doc. I leave you love, love heals. I leave you faith. I mean, she just was a extraordinary woman that all of us can learn from and try to emulate. And so I can't wait till this Thursday when we break it all down.
Where she comes from a great Black people, a great Negro people, a great people, a great colored people. We've had so many names, but mentally human beings who've been so hated and taught the world so much. All of its various forms.
About love. Like you say that all the time. So much about love and all of its various forms. And speaking of love, we do love you. Dr. West and I want to make sure that you live on purpose, live purposefully, and always, always, always remember titles are good, but purpose is better. Until next time, truth time, baby, all the time.
That's right. That's right.
1880 Santa Monica.